Hey everybody, this is Yodakiller and welcome back to the Hyperspace Cube channel. Today I want to do a little tournament report and some tips and tricks on Cad TT. Recently played in a PQ, got a 5th place, and it was such a great time, great opportunity to just continue to put up good results. And I want to talk a little bit about how it went. So this is the list that I played. Kind of some changes. I really liked having the waylays and no good to me dead and surprise strikes. I think having a little bit of disruption in the aggro version is very important. I opted with sneak attack and a 3rd no good to me dead on the board. They came in clutch every match. And then I added some confiscates there for the obvious upgrade hate and devastators to close things out against control. But I will touch a little bit upon some of these cards in this episode. Okay, so this is very, very tough matchups, but you gotta always find a way. I think this is the most important part that I want you all to take away from this tournament. I will go through kind of every matchup and kind of, maybe cards that'll help you to find a way to win, but it was Mother Talzin, Vader, Kazuda, Hantu Blue, and then Apia Yellow. So very much all these games I had to really think a lot, grind hard, and find out those opportunities. First round was against Talzin Green. Shout out to Wiki Wins. He has watched some of my videos. He's a CAD player as well. Decided to play Talzin, but I really had a great time playing against them and chatting with him throughout the tournament. Talzin Green, going into it, you might think to yourself, yeah, this is a very tough matchup. They are designed to kill your 1/1s. So how do you beat that? Well, you keep them off the force, right? That's one of the big advantages of the Cad Weenie deck, is you'll be able to ideally start with 2 1-drops, and you are able to kill the first turn play. Or I'll talk a little bit about why sequencing matters, but you have Guavian. If you start with the Guavian, now their 2/2 shield guy, they're going to have to think about what to play next, because if they do play it, I'll just claim and first action kill that, and I still have my target town available. Be prepared and have an answer to Chirrut. Chirrut is a very important card for them, and it's stopping you from putting in damage. So if you could hold off your target town for Chirrut, or a way to damage it, and if you're doing your game plan keeping them off the force, then you're able to clear it very quickly. The last point too that's very important is protect Lurker. I think this is very big against these green villainy decks, or any just villainy decks, is protect the Lurker. Find an opportunity in a pocket to play the Lurker, and very important to have that no good to me dead for the flip turn. Anticipate and get them into a situation in which they're going to use the front side of the Talzin ability on it, and then so when they flip, you no good to me dead accomplishes 2 things: keep them off the force for another turn. Mother Chirrut is tapped, so your Lurker will be protected. So kind of some important things that I want you to think about with sequencing is protect that Lurker. I won that match 2-1. So starting off a very tough long match, almost went to time, but it was good to get that out of the way. Okay. Second round was against Vader Yellow, 1-2-0. This is against BB 1996. Brian, someone who has been coaching and helping a lot with Vader Yellow. So it was a really fun opportunity to play him, because when I saw on Melee, I was like, oh, here we go. It is the teacher versus the student kind of scenario. But yeah, Vader Yellow is historically not a good matchup for Cad. If they put the Lurker down, it can become very tough. So what are very important tools? No going to be dead for the flip, making sure you're not getting hit too hard by a Clone Combat Squadron or the unit that gets put on the Vader upgrade, the pilot. Having McClunky, Target Town, IG2K, very important to keep them at bay, and then race them. That's the only way you're going to win this matchup. If you spend too much time entertaining, keeping the board clear, they got to find an opportunity to pivot. And I think that was a big mistake. We talked about it with Brian, was he spent a lot of time trying to kill my units, like my IG2K, my Miss Hunter, where, remember, I'm a Target Town deck, so I'm a 25-point base. So just race. You can outrace me. I have 5 health buff. just go to face. And I think that was a big difference there in the matchup. But 1-2-0 here. Fun matchup. Yeah, it was a good time. All right, this is where it got crazy. Kazuda Tarkin Talent, whoa, rough. This deck is super fast, very scary. I think for me, these decks are only gonna get better for next set. Yeah, it really becomes down to mulligan for no gonna be dead. You have to have it. Try to find a way to kill those falcons. I know it's very difficult, but like once a falcon has a Han or the Kazuda upgrade, yeah, I think all of our games ended before Cad flipped. It's one of those where it's either you have the tools to slow them down enough for you to actually get there, or they just kill you before you even flip. So this is kind of one of those matchups where things have to go right, and it happened to be that he drew a lot of discard hate, hate. I drew upgrade hate, and it just kind of lined up that way, and got this 2-1. Too close to call, but yeah, it's just one of those matchups that I would practice because I feel like Kazuda and pilot decks like Luke are going to come more and more and more as the sets go on, especially with this new set. All right, fourth round was against Hantu Blue. This is my buddy Bill, local. I know him very well, and we've played many times. Hantu Blue, this is like one of those matchups where this is what you want this deck for, is keep them off the force. Raiders and Dev to finish them off as the game goes late. Sequencing here matters a ton, so no good to be dead is very important. IG2K, upgrade hate too, because a lot of them are playing confiscate. IG2K can kind of mass ping the board, and then you want no good to keep them off Luke. I think this is very important where you want to keep, damage matters. You want to keep them off that restore. No good's going to help you with that. Interesting scenario here that happened. Situations kind of where I want to talk about crate math and tips. With this deck, especially the aggro version, you really want to start thinking about sequencing and the math. And here's a scenario that happened in our match. So he's at 22 life. I'm at 8 life with initiative. He has a crate dragon on board, and I have Miss Hunter on board and Criminal Muscle. So it's kind of a hairy situation where I go ahead and swing with Miss Hunter, put him to 25. He swings with crate. I'm at 18. Like the game's over this turn because there's just no way I'm gonna deal with this crate and still survive. But the most important part of all this, and I have Devastator in hand. I think this is something that maybe I've always thought about the scenario, and if it ever came up, and it finally came up in our match. But basically, it is if it's your action and you're playing the Devastator, you are sequencing the triggers. So you're making sure that you play Devastator, there is a crate trigger there for 8 damage. I'm already at 18, I'm dead. But because of the when played, you are able to use the when played with Devastator, put him to lethal, put him now to 29, and then he dies. So there is no more trait trigger to be looked at because he's now at lethal damage. Just one of those things that you need to think about where it's like, oh, I'm not just dead. I can kill him because he's at lethal, and you get away with not having the crate trigger. It's not something that you will see because the opponent already is at lethal range. So just a little thing to think about. I was like, I know this is how it works. Called the judge, confirmed, Devastator for the win. And that was just like a sweet little bucket list thing that I wanted to accomplish there. So always think about crate math. Always think about your outs and kind of navigate the game to try to get to lethal range. Okay. Fifth round was against Piet Yellow. I won that one 2-1. I don't know why I put blue there. Typo. Yeah. Admiral Piet, very hard deck. Ramp decks are very difficult, but things that matter here, try to kill Piet on the flip. Don't let it live too long. It is taking away from putting damage to base, but I think here it matters a little bit more because you don't want to get them to the range where they just start putting Devastators and bombs. You can't deal with them too easily. And they have Barrage as well, and Craving Power and Turbo Salvos. This is a lot. So Waylay is going to be really important to bounce those targets. And you got to attack them in both lanes. I know it kind of seems silly. why would I attack him in both lanes? But yes, there are scenarios where like Lurking Tie can definitely get away from Creeping Power and Barrage, and you just have to put him in a position in which you're putting damage and threatening them on both sides. And Sneak Attack is going to be really big. Another opportunity, another scenario that happened here was like you have to find a way to win the game. And this is really a turn where, yeah, it was just like a real like number cruncher in game 3. So my opponent's at 16 life. He started the turn. He played Devastator, killed my Cad Bane. And so now he has Devastator on board, Architins, who's already been ramping, killing my guys, and a Piet. The game is pretty much over in a couple turns because he has so many cards in hand. So the scenario that I have here is I have Waylay in hand. I have Sneak Attack in hand. I have Lurking Tie in hand. And then I have a 1-drop. And I thought to myself, well, how am I winning this game? It's my action. Okay. Bounce and use the Waylay on Devastator. And his opportunity now is, okay, what am I going to eat up? He eats up the Ruthless Raider. Yeah, he eats up the Ruthless Raider. So 2 damage goes on base. He's at 18. And now it's my action now. And I go, okay, well, I got to go max damage now. I know this Devastator's coming down next. So I got to inflict the most damage possible. So he's at 18. Lurker puts him to 22. Miss Hunter puts him to 25. I Sneak Attack the Lurking Tie, put him to 29, and then I put a Guavian on the ground. And now he has to deal with 2 sides. And I also have a the little relentless guy. I forgot her name. The 1-drop in the row, and I ended up actually drawing Ruthless Raider and the next regroup phase. So like kind of like the important scenarios here is like think about your plays. How do I get the victory? It was a very close match, but like these are the things that you have to think about. And I mean, this is one of the plays that I am very, very much proud of, where I go, yeah, I think I got to sneak the Lurker here and just go for broke and like put as much damage right here as possible, because I know the game's about to get away from me. Okay. Incident that put me on tilt. Unfortunately, right, I ended up making top cut. I double drew. I really did feel like it was my tournament to win. Matchups seemed favorable. Yeah, I just felt like on a groove and felt that it was my time to take it. I went to my car to just put my hoodie away, and it's just like I go there and I find this. I find that my my passenger rearview mirror here is broken, and there was a little note that said sorry with a phone number. I call the number, no answer. I called the store and I said, hey, how much time do I have left? I need to do a police report. So they said, we'll wait a little bit. So that kind of got me stressed out. I did a police report. He came, took a while, went back to the store to play my Top Cut match, immediately started. And then, yeah, it just led to like dumb mistakes. I should have won my games in Top Cut. All were 2 points short. Just led to dumb mistakes that like put me in a position to be behind. So these are just like an important things to learn about like the mental state. And I had just fixed my car. I just got it back, spent $3,000 on some changes and fixes, and then to have this just put me in a very bad mood. So I kind of already just felt like I wanted to go home, and that kind of just led to me making mistakes. So yeah, I'm still waiting for my car to get fixed, but just kind of like a learning opportunity for all is just, try to get your head back into the game, a mission at hand. But yeah, this got the better of me because of my car. So that sucks. All right. So let's talk about opening plays, things that matter here. I think, right now CAD 1 is well positioned. This is probably like you have your last PQ probably before the new set comes in. So just things to think about is my best sequencing would be Guavian and Criminal Muscle. That's probably the best opening play that I love, because let's say you give them the initiative, they pass to you, then you put a Guavian, and now they go, well, now I'm playing my Krennic or playing the secretive stage. Now you can just claim and kill it right away. So now that matters. And now you don't have to use the criminal muscle in order for you to Tarkin Town that. So you save a Tarkin Town. But if they don't and they decide, okay, I'm still going to play it, you can just Guavian, criminal muscle something else. Or Guavian and another 1-drop. I also love the Death Star Stormtrooper play, right? You want to start with 6 power on the board. That's why you can start chipping in their damage. Start with that. They pass again. Or they play something, then you can Greedo, ping, Tarkin Town. Or, you know, you could do the Reckless Gunslinger. There's nothing wrong, too, with just going Aura Sing, especially if they're playing a deck like Emperor Palpatine, where they're going to start pinging your guys. I kind of just like switching the mentality to having more health on the board and playing a little bit more of a mid-range style. But it is very important to sequence correctly and to play your guys at the right moment, or you can get punished really quickly. Okay, so I want to kind of shift to talk about that aggro mindset, especially when you play aggro CAD. It's just very important to get those damage in while you can, even if it means making an early claim. I think the most important example I can give is with Cad Bane Leader. You know, if you feel that you are behind or you feel that this is a bad matchup, you have to utilize your Cad Bane to the best of your ability. You got to think about it as, you know, this is my opportunity to get anywhere between, you know, ideally 12 damage out of Cad is important with Hot Shot. If you can get 12, I think you're going to win the game. And that sometimes just might mean thinking about making that early claim. I think there are opportunities where I might leave 3 resources up because I deploy. Maybe they hit Cad Bane. I hotshot, hit them for 6. Maybe they still have things that they want to play, and they do, because here's the thing about Star Wars Unlimited is like I have 3 more resources. I can still do more things, and they might also have things to play. And while doing so, and I know that my Cad Bane is about to die in the next regroup phase, I'll just claim. I'll claim to get another 6 damage in, or if I have another hot shot, to get 8 damage in. I think that's what you got to think about, is making sure what do you need to do to get them to 0. And if that means one more hit with Cad Bane, they kill it, and I go Ruthless Raider, that's damage there. And if you didn't do that, that's damage that you left on the board, making it a little bit more harder to close the game out. So just kind of a perspective there is making sure if your Cad Bane's going to die, think about it. Can I make an early claim to put the damage in? All right. I want to talk about RTFC. RTFC is read the freaking card on your weenies. And I think, right, two more important decisions with this deck is, you know, where are you stopping with your resources? Game 1, usually you'd be fine with 6. Sometimes you can go to 7, but if you're at 6, more gas, right? Sequencing matters. So Guavian has Saboteur, which means like against certain decks, I want to swing with Guavian last, right? You want to swing with units that don't have that Saboteur, so that Chirrut comes down, you've already chipped in damage with something that's not going to be blocked by a Sentinel, because this gets through it. So something to think about is always read your cards and your keywords, okay? Very important. Wins a lot of games. Another thing, Reckless Gunslinger. This smuggles a very important keyword here, right? Let's say it's the 4 resource turn. Maybe you don't have 4 alarm. Maybe your hand is weak. Maybe your opponent has been, you've seen pillage. Use smuggle. Use smuggle to save cards in your hand. So that's 3 that you can play from your row. Does a damage. That's a ping. Maybe you have another 1-drop in hand. So to make it look like your hand's not that weak, use your smuggle, protects against discard. It's also a late game threat, right? Let's say they board wipe you, Gunslinger, smuggle it out. There's a damage, and now there's a threat. There's a threat because of Surprise Strike. There's a threat because of Hot Shot, right? It's a good bounce target as well, right? McClunky, kill something, play it again. That's another damage, all to get them to 0. So just always kind of be cognizant about Reckless Gunslinger, whether you need to, play it from the resource or play it from your hand. Always do the math every turn. What am I doing in this turn? How many cards can I play with my resources? Can I play everything that I can from resources in hand? Then I don't need to resource. All right, my favorite card in the whole deck is Criminal Muscle. Very underrated card. Let's read it. It's a 2/1 Underworld. When played, you may return a non-unique upgrade to its owner's hand. Don't dismiss this card. Like, if you have it and you draw it, think about, right before you resource, think about why and what are you playing against, and is there value in having it in hand. He's the one guy that I protect the most. Secretive Stage, right? Being able to kill this on turn 1, take the shield off, then ping. You can Tarkin Town it. Very important to keep those force units out. Also, you could take the shield off of, you know, Internet Warrior, and then use the Marauder to kill it, right? How about later in the game? Your opponent plays Entrenched on one of your cards. Maybe on a Lurking TIE Phantom. Maybe on a Ruthless Raider. Well, here you go. There's just a card that, like, you can sequence to the point where maybe they've used their resource. You play this, bounce the Entrenched, and now you are able to attack in for the damage. All right, and my favorite play of them all is use this to your advantage to get multiple hits with Hotshot. I call this like the Hotshot dance, where you can, you know, attack with Hotshot with one of your units, play Criminal Muscle, bounce your Hotshot, play the Hotshot on another unit, and attack. So now you're like, that's more damage you're putting on your opponent. Something to think about. Use it for yourself. This is how I was it was just a decision in Top Cut where I resourced the Hotshot. I was one off of lethal to go to game 3. And then Hotshot, I resourced. I should have not resourced it. I had muscle. Should have just played Hotshot from hand, muscle, bounce, Hotshot again, and then that would have got me the win. So just one of the most important cards. Remember that you can use this for you and kind of play a little game with Hot Potato with your Hotshot. So just be cognizant of that. All right, so just upcoming news. Hotshot HoloNet episode will be dropping soon. I know a lot of people have liked that, which is great. I will also be having a cube updates for Secrets of Power. That's in progress for my Google Sheet, where I'll be updating the changes that I'll make for my cube. Along, we'll talk about a little bit about my favorite cards and leaders, and what changes will I make for the cube, because there's some good leaders out there that I'm already debating. Like, all right, some of these leaders that I've been playing for so long in cube are probably gonna have to go bye-bye. And then also one last thing too, I'll put the Discord there for the Bothan Network. But if you ever have any questions about matchups, about Vader, Cad, whatever, please reach out in Discord. I will reply to you. And I'm all about building a good community, and especially bounty hunters. And I also have a thread in the Bothan Discord if you want to chat. We're always chatting about whatever. So yeah, thanks guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you later.